This episode contains adult themes and is not appropriate for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, the world. This is They Will Kill, a true crime podcast. I'm Sadiak.
And I'm Courtneyak.
And it's Courtney's night.
It's my night. Sadie still got COVID a little bit, so...
A little tiny bit of COVID, not too bad.
I'm gonna carry her through like Jesus in the fucking sand, guys.
Where are my footprints?
There are none, because I'm carrying you.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Just like Jesus. Just like him. Now that we've alienated any Christian listeners that have just found us, we don't want to alienate you.
No, stick around for the terrible murder story.
Yes, this is the story of the psychopathic killer Dan Wozniak.
Oh, name sounds familiar.
I thought so too, but I definitely didn't know this case. I think there's probably multiple murderers named Wozniak.
Yeah.
Isn't it a very murdery name? No
Sure
offense. Now we've offended
All
Christians
of our
and
Wozniaks.
Wozniaks.
Yeah.
Or Wozniak. I don't know. Fuck this guy, so I'll call him what I want.
That's right.
Julie Kibuishi was a beautiful, vibrant, free-spirited 23-year-old college student and dancer who grew up in California after her parents immigrated from Japan. She lived in Orange County, California, and had so much talent as a dancer that she'd been accepted to the Orange County School for the Arts for high school. She was definitely an all-American girl, but also embraced her Japanese heritage and culture. She was extremely well-liked, and people were drawn to her kindness, creativity, and effervescent personality. Her parents were very involved in her life and were well acquainted with her circle of friends, and said that they never feared for their daughter's life as she hung out with a great crowd. Julie's parents were not aware, however, that Julie had made a new friend, 26-year-old Sam Herr. Julie met Sam at community college, and Sam was a combat veteran with movie star good looks who had returned to Orange County after serving in Afghanistan. Friends described Sam as larger-than-life, very happy-go-lucky, and very well-liked.
I love the name Sam.
I do, too. It's perfect for all genders, too.
Yes.
One friend called him a, quote, big galoof. One of his best friends who served in Afghanistan with him said that they were on the front line and were under fire on a near-constant basis. He said that Sam's experiences in Afghanistan changed him, and Sam returned to the U.S. with signs that he was suffering from PTSD. Sam and Julie met in an anthropology class, and Julie was a much stronger student than Sam, so volunteered to tutor him, and they struck up a friendship. Sam's parents say that the two were good for each other, and thanks to Julie's help, Sam pulled off an A in the course. Sam claimed Julie was like his, quote, kid sister, and denied that there was anything romantic between the two of them. Then in May of 2010, Sam was supposed to go to his parents' house for the weekend, but he didn't show up, and his father tried to call repeatedly, but the calls went straight to voicemail every time. Sam never turned his phone off, so his father, Steve, drove to his apartment to check on him after a day had passed and there was still no sign of his son. Steve let himself in with a spare set of keys and said that at first glance the apartment was very tidy and there was no sign of any issues. He then made his way into Sam's bedroom and found Julie's body, dead on the bed, with her clothes ripped off and covered in blood.
Oh.
Yep. There was no sign of Sam at all in the apartment, and his father called 911 to report what he'd found.
God.
I know. And he was like, his first thought was, what the fuck
Did
has
my kid do?
done? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Especially because he had been admitting that he'd been having flashback nightmares and was like really struggling with PTSD.
Right.
It was clear that Julie had been murdered, as police quickly ascertained that she died from a gunshot to her head, and there was no sign of Sam anywhere, so police issued an all-points bulletin to try to find their main suspect. They reported to the public that Sam was likely armed and dangerous, knowing that he had been suffering from PTSD and knew how to use a weapon from his time in the military. While they searched for Sam, police investigated the crime scene further and there were several things that stood out to them. Sam's apartment was generally pretty immaculate and full of the typical items you'd find in a young man's home, but other than the unused knife near his bedside, there was nothing especially concerning. Julie's body was sort of draped on the side of the bed, and she was wearing a tiara, as she'd met her older brother Taka earlier that night to have dinner and help him plan his upcoming wedding. Taka's fiancé had asked Julie to be a bridesmaid at that dinner and had given her the tiara.
No.
Yes. She just had this beautiful night with her family.
God.
Shows up in a fucking tiara and ends up getting murdered.
I don't like it.
You won't like this even more. On the back of Julie's sweater, the words, quote, "fuck you, all yours," had been written in marker, which led police to wonder if she'd been involved in some kind of tragic love triangle. There were also signs that she had been sexually assaulted. Police found text messages from Sam to Julie that started earlier in the night when he'd texted that he'd been helping his downstairs neighbor Dan, who was getting married soon and had been freaking out about finding enough money to cover the event. He said that after he was done hanging out with Dan, he was planning to head to his parents for the weekend. Then 2 hours later, he started asking Julie if she could come over around midnight alone and said that he was, quote, very upset and needed to talk. He then texted, quote, "Jesus, I just really need to talk. I need someone I trust." And Julie responded, quote, "I'm here for you like family." Based on the message written on Julie's sweater and the text exchange, police theorized that Sam had asked Julie to come over and had maybe been drinking or doing drugs and had snapped for some reason, assaulted and murdered Julie, and then disappeared. Sam's passport and vehicle were missing, and when police did a background check on Sam, they learned that he had actually been arrested and tried for murder in the past.
Oh, no.
When he was younger, Sam had been accused of luring a friend to a parking lot where he was then killed by gang members.
What?
But Sam was acquitted of the charges.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Oh,
So creepy.
that's awful.
Regardless, this did not bode well for Sam, and police were full steam ahead trying to track down the man that they were overwhelmingly suspecting had killed Julie. So 2 days after Julie was murdered, the police got their first big break in the case when the banks opened on Monday morning, and Sam's father, Steve, was able to track down some debit transactions from the bank account he shared with his son. Sam had been able to save $62,000 in combat pay in that account. I know.
Good for him.
I know. And his father noticed that someone had used the debit card associated with it for 2 deliveries from a pizza place and 4 cash withdrawals from an ATM in nearby Long Beach right after Julie was murdered. He passed the information to the police, who accessed the cameras at the ATM where Sam's card had been used, and they were very surprised when the footage showed an unknown teenager using the ATM machine to slowly drain Sam's account. Police zeroed in on the house where the pizzas had been delivered and sent helicopters to surveil overhead and posted undercover officers and a SWAT team outside to see if they could spot Sam Herr coming or going. So the teenager from the ATM footage lived in the home and was 16-year-old Wesley Freeland. He was sharing a pepperoni pizza with some friends when he heard the helicopters overhead, so opened the front door to a SWAT team telling him not to move.
Man, I was just thinking, I've heard of helicopters surveilling before.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you notice? I guess they're not being, undercover at this point.
No, they're really just...
They were just, putting the pressure on.
Well, and they were assuming that Sam is hiding out in this house,
right.
so they're coming full ablazing.
Guns blazing.
Exactly,
Yes.
to get this guy. And this teenager hears the helicopter's
no.
cool, what are they looking for? You little shit. You.
Stop ordering pizza.
So police said that he first tried to act cool and tough in front of his friends.
No, can you imagine?
No.
How old is this kid?
16.
Oh, man.
He's a little skater kid.
Oh.
Yep. But when police explained that he was being investigated for a murder, he started crying and changed his tune real fast.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume he's
No,
innocent.
you can say poor thing.
Okay.
Yes, he's not involved. So police went into Wesley's home and found that his mother's bedroom door was closed and locked, so they broke in, assuming Sam was hiding inside. But Sam was nowhere to be found, and his debit card was in the home, and so Wesley was questioned about how it had come into his possession. So Wesley explained that he had gotten the card from a friend of his mother's named Dan Wozniak. Dan met Wesley's mother when they performed together doing community theater, and he was the same Dan that Sam had been hanging out with on the night that Julie was murdered, as they were friends and neighbors. So, police had also found Dan's wedding invitation on the counter of Sam's kitchen when they searched the home. Wes said that Dan gave him the ATM card and PIN number and said that he needed Wes to help collect money that Sam owed him from the account. So Wes, being 16 years old, gullible, and excited about free pizza, agreed to help. Dan even presented Wes with a folder full of paperwork that he claimed was legal documents that approved the withdrawals. So he just needed Wes's help to collect the cash. But he did encourage him to wear a hat and glasses when he did so.
Oh, teenagers are so dumb.
So dumb.
So dumb.
I would fully do it. I'd be like, hell yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
Free pizza.
Ooh, paperwork. That's professional.
Yeah. Oh, you need my help? Totally. I'll totally help you.
Like never ever stopping for 1 second to think, why would this man need me to do it?
Exactly.
Why would he need my help?
Exactly.
Teenagers that are listening, adults won't ask you to help them if they
No.
really need help.
No,
They will
don't
not go
do
to
that.
you. They will
No.
not go to you.
No, they're not going to. CIA agents are not going to find you in chat rooms and
No.
recruit you.
No.
Adults don't need you to operate ATMs for you.
No.
For them.
Mima might need you to help her with her, I almost said her, like a AIM account.
Mima meaning Sadie. Sadie might need you to help her set up her AIM account. Teens. See? Don't trust her. Don't trust her. Don't do it.
Don't do it for a second.
No. Sadie.
You've got mail.
Take Sadie's AOL disc that she got in the mail in 1995, smash
Was
it
it?
into pieces.
Wait, was AIM a real thing? Was
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yes. I think that was like instant messenger.
Right. Okay.
I don't know what A stood for,
America.
but AOL had AIM.
AM,
Is that how
right.
it works?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, Dan drove west to the nearest Chase ATM to get the party started. So this information obviously changed things dramatically for police, who then began to wonder if Sam was also in trouble and brought in Dan Wozniak for questioning as a new suspect in Julie's murder. At first, Dan said he couldn't make it down to the station to answer questions as he was too busy at his bachelor party to make the trip. Police learned that Dan was with some friends at Tsunami Sushi and Teppanyaki,
Ooh.
and so sent some marshals, federal marshals, down to the strip mall where it was located to have a chat. The detective that arrived at Tsunami Sushi and Teppanyaki said that as soon as Dan saw him, the color drained from his face and he looked down. He immediately said that he would tell police everything and he was so sick of covering for Sam. Police arrested Dan and brought him in for questioning. So Dan Wozniak was the star actor in the local community theater and was described by friends as an all-around fun guy and good actor. I saw some of the clips of him acting. I would not agree that he's a good actor, but whatever.
Okay, I mean, it's like
He had a decent
scale,
voice.
right?
Yes.
good
Better
for-
than me. He's a better actor than I am, that's for sure. So like most struggling actors, Dan always had money problems and was forever between jobs trying to balance making a living with following his dreams. Dan was engaged to his co-star, fellow actor Rachel Buffett, and was realizing that he didn't have enough money to finance their wedding and honeymoon that was rapidly approaching. Police questioned Dan, who put on the performance of a lifetime, denying knowing where Sam was or what had happened to him.
Is there footage of the interrogation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? Yeah. A lot of that. Dan did admit that he asked Wes to help him illegally withdraw money from Sam's account, but that he didn't have anything to do with Julie's murder. He said that on the night she was murdered, he and his fiancée put on a performance of the play they were in, then took a shower, and then had sex. So, rock solid alibi,
Yeah.
dude. He said that on the morning after Julie was murdered, Sam showed up at his apartment and told him that he, quote, did something bad and revealed that there was a dead body in his apartment. Dan claimed that Sam said he, quote, shot somebody in a fit of rage. Dan said he agreed to help Sam go on the run, but had no direct involvement with Julie's murder whatsoever. The police were not buying his story, however.
No, you don't do that.
No, you don't, like, oh, who am I going to get to help me? Oh, my neighbor.
Right, and then I'm going to
Downstairs
give him
neighbor.
my debit card, and then I'm going to steal his money for him? Like, no, dude.
Dude, you got to help me. I got to go. Send me cash.
Here's this paperwork that makes it okay.
But I'm going to need you to go find
Give
a
it to the
teenager
yeah.
to really throw him off.
What the fuck?
But then I'm also going to let the teenager order pizza to his house so police can go directly to him.
No.
They asked for a DNA sample, which Dan agreed to, but he was sure to tell them that he had been in Sam's apartment on the afternoon that Julie was murdered. He then lost his cool and admitted that he had seen Julie's body after she'd been killed and had stood right over it, which would explain why his DNA could potentially show up on her body.
Piece of shit.
Police asked what he specifically saw, and he said that he saw, quote, 2 bullet holes in her head, which was a significant detail because police had only perceived that there had been 1 bullet hole when they'd done their initial investigation. So Dan would have known that she had actually been shot twice if he had been present when she was murdered.
Yeah.
Yep. Police called Dan on his slip-up and then sent him back to his cell, where he asked to call his fiancée, Rachel. On this recorded call, Rachel said that she, quote, needs to make a call to the detective now because Rachel had learned that Dan's brother, Tim, had the freaking murder weapon and told her he needed to get rid of it.
What?
Rachel said on the call that she had to tell the detective before they heard her on the recorded call and thought she had something to do with it.
Oh, no.
Dan said that he'd be, quote, doomed if she did that. Rachel then asked if Dan knew that his brother had the gun that had killed Julie, and he confessed that he did. Dan then asked Rachel if Tim had, quote, spoken up, and she said that he had confessed to her that he had the gun. She said that she told Tim that she was going to the police station because Dan had been arrested, and Tim started freaking out. So basically, that's a long way of saying Rachel was talking to Dan's brother, Tim, said, I have to go down to the police station. He was like, oh, fuck, he's been arrested. He gave me a gun to hold for him.
What the fuck? Like, Dan, just get rid of the gun on your own. Why are we making this such a family affair with
Why are you recruiting teenagers and,
brothers and... Ugh.
Yes. So Dan begged Rachel to keep the information to herself, saying that, quote, that can't be found. And she said that she had her mind made up and was going to tell the detectives what she knew. She also reminded him that the call was being recorded.
Seriously?
And that he was being a, quote, absolute ass again.
Yes. I agree with you, Rachel.
Dan then reached out to detectives and said that he was ready to confess. Dan started by saying, quote, I'm crazy and I did it. Dan said that he was a pathological liar who had been digging himself into a hole for the past 2 years. It culminated in him murdering Julie Kibuishi and Sam Herr. The reality of Dan's life was that he had no job, no money, was about to get kicked out of the apartment he shared with Rachel, and couldn't afford their wedding or honeymoon, and Rachel had no idea. When Dan learned that his friend and neighbor Sam had a savings account with $62,000 in it, he hatched a plan to solve all of his financial problems at the expense of 2 innocent lives. Dan lured Sam to the theater where he had been performing as the star of the community theater and said that he needed help moving something from the attic. Once they were in the attic, Sam bent down to pick something up and Dan shot him. He said that Dan was still alive after he shot him once and started saying, quote, I need help. Something hit me. It felt like an electric shock. I know that shit. I don't like knowing those details at all. So Dan reloaded and fired again and killed his friend. He then removed Sam's head and hands and hid them in the nature center at El Dorado Park.
Jesus.
And said that he was, quote, smiling and laughing as he killed and dismembered his friend. Then, if the cold-hearted murder of a young war veteran wasn't enough, Dan lured Julie to Sam's house to murder her and throw police off of the trail of Sam's murder.
That is so fucked up.
It's so diabolical. Like, you think you've heard the most diabolical thing, and then you hear something else that's, like, the most diabolical
no,
thing.
it's, like, soul-crushing. No.
Yep. Dan posed as Sam and sent Julie a string of urgent texts from his phone. When she arrived and Sam didn't answer, Dan offered to use the key he had to Sam's apartment to let Julie in. He then said, quote, "Oh, did you see this on Sam's bed?" And when Julie leaned over to look at what he was referring to, Dan shot her twice in the back of the head. His intention was to make it look like Sam raped and murdered his friend and then left town in a panic. Two people just being good friends, innocently being helpful people, and get fucking murdered.
Oh, I don't like it.
No. And Dan could have gotten a job. Like, there are ways to get money, like
sure,
jobs.
Of course.
You know, loans.
There's always ways. Asking
family,
for help. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Not
being honest with your fiance. And
a
she'd be
double
like, oh,
murder.
okay, well, we can go to the courthouse.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I haven't been able to get another job, and so maybe we should postpone our wedding by 6 months. Cool. No problem. Weddings are expensive. Instead, oh, you know what? I found out my good buddy, the war veteran, has $62,000 in his bank account, so I'm just going to take that instead. So after Dan killed and dismembered Sam and disposed of his body parts, then killed Julie to throw off authorities, he attended a wrap party for the play he had just starred in and can be seen in the footage from that night, smiling and holding court with his fellow actors. Piece of fucking shit. Sam's body was found in the park where Dan had indicated he dumped his remains on what would have been his 27th birthday.
Buddy.
Sam's father said he woke up on Sam's birthday, and his first thought was that he hoped that would be the day when they would find his son's head.
Oh my God.
Yep. Sam's body was so unrecognizable, they were only able to ID him through the tattoo of a heart and a rose on his chest that said Mom and Dad.
No, it didn't.
Yes!
Courtney.
This huge chest tattoo.
For his parents.
Oh, Sam. Ugh.
The world's too good. Too bad. No,
I
you're
know.
too good for this world. That's what I'm trying to say, Sam.
Yes, the world is too bad for your goodness, Sam and Julie.
Oh.
Police recovered the bag that contained Sam's bloody clothes, passport, and wallet, as well as the gun used to kill Julie and Sam.
So are we sure that Dan did it?
It's all circumstantial.
God.
So it took 5.5 years for Dan Wozniak to be brought to trial
What?
due to an investigation by, quote, Assistant Public Defender Scott Sanders, who used this case, among others, to allege systematic misconduct on the part of the Orange County District Attorney's Office and Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Really?
He specifically alleged that their use of jailhouse informants violated his client's right to a fair trial.
Huh.
I only put this detail in there because it's such a double-sided example of how fucked up the system is, that maybe Scott Sanders is a good guy and really wants to fight for his clients who didn't get a fair trial, but it seems more like it was a political move against the district attorney. And so Julie's mother said, quote, I just want to tell him, and this may not be nice to say, but if he were in the same shoes we are, and if he is a parent, if this happened to his child, I don't know if he would do the same thing as he is right now. He said in court, quote, I am not a bad person. Well, I don't think that he is, but understand how we feel. During the time between Julie's murder and the trial, both of her parents also had to battle cancer.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yes.
Hey.
Yeah. So, despite having confessed to both murders and all of the evidence against him, Dan Wozniak pleaded not guilty, but the trial just lasted 5 days.
Yeah, right? Here's the bag of all of the evidence. Goodbye.
Yep. The defense didn't give an opening statement or call any witnesses and never mentioned that Dan was innocent, and they never asked for a not guilty verdict. And after just 2 hours, the jury was happy to oblige.
Seriously.
Dan Wozniak was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, and that same jury had to decide whether or not he would be sentenced to death. And after just 1 hour of deliberation, the jury voted that Dan Wozniak did deserve to be put to death.
Wow, 1 hour.
I know. Well, they were like very impacted by the victims' statements.
Oh,
and Sam's father. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I can understand that.
Yep. They were like, this is what the family wants, and so we're going to give it to them. Julie's and Sam's families were relieved to have closure and said that they could start the process of healing, knowing Dan Wozniak was paying for his actions. Julie's mother said that she has always taught her children to be kind to others and help whenever they can, but losing her daughter because she tried to help a friend has completely changed her perception of the world and made her question whether good actually triumphs over evil. Though she maintained she had absolutely nothing to do with Sam and Julie's murders, Rachel Buffett was caught in a couple of lies she told police that looked like she was trying to help cover up Dan's involvement, and was sentenced to 32 months in jail in 2018. Dan Wozniak was actually transferred from San Quentin to a lower security prison in 2021 as a part of the, quote, condemned prisoner program that is described as a, quote, way for those previously confined to death row to participate in rehabilitation and work programs in order to pay restitution to their victims or their families. Death row inmates are eligible for the program, quote, unless they have pending charges, have been found guilty of certain disciplinary offenses within the last 5 years, or are in restrictive housing because of disciplinary reasons. Sam's father, Steve, said, quote, it was a kick in the gut. It would have been nice for them to at least notify me. If I could, I would kill him myself, but that isn't going to happen, so I want the harshest possible penalty. California's governor put a moratorium on executions in 2019, quote, but the death penalty remains part of state law and the actual death row sentences remain intact. And that is the big pile of fuckage known as Dan Wozniak's poor decisions.
God, it sucks.
He sucks. The system sucks. It's so needless. I just cannot imagine spending like 5.5 years waiting for this fucking trial, battling cancer, and just being like, why?
Right.
Why? If Dan had come to me and asked me for $62,000, otherwise he's going to kill my daughter and her friend, like, you know, I would give you $62,000 fucking dollars, you piece of shit. It'd be a very high interest loan, but I'd still give it to you.
Seriously. No, he could have gone to Dan and been like, hey, buddy, I need $5,000. Like, that would get you a nice wedding. And Dan would be like, okay.
Yep.
You know, pay me back when you can.
Totally would have. Yep. Yeah, he went on a cruise for his honeymoon. Cruises cost like $75 a night.
Seriously, yes. Oh, man. Well, man. I
know. Boo!
Boo!
Boo, system.
Boo,
Dan.
Julie. Who else did Dan fuck with?
Probably a lot of people. He seems like a real fucking scumbag. Well, and Laura was like, would you sentence him to death? And it's like, I could never serve on a jury of a death sentence state because I don't believe in the death penalty. But if I had to rate people who potentially deserved the death penalty, it would be people like him.
Yep.
There's just absolutely no excuse. He's just a baddie. He's just a really bad person. Just a selfish, shitty, bad person.
And he wanted to murder people, clearly.
Yes, he did. There was a part of an interview I saw with him, and he's like, if you want me to say that I enjoyed it, okay, I'm saying I enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it.
He fully did.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, you don't murder your buddy and then lure his friend. You don't do that unless you want to kill her.
Right.
Unless you enjoyed it.
Well, and enjoyed, like, the process of, like, setting up the perfect crime, and you have these, like, total delusions of grandeur, right?
Right.
So even if you didn't fully enjoy the actual murdering, which it sounds like he clearly did, you would enjoy like setting up this whole thing to get the money for yourself. And worst kind of person.
Yes, and clearly people are just objects to be fucked with.
Yep. So,
wow, good one, man.
Thanks, man.
Sad one.
Yeah, I like the idea of this program that they put him in, but you should definitely have to get the approval of the family before you put them in that program.
Yeah.
So the idea of like providing restitution for the family, for some families that would be a lovely thing. That would be very healing for them. And for other families that would be like ripping the wound right open.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like families should at least get the say.
Yes.
And I would say that in like any murder case. If you've murdered somebody, the family gets to decide, yes, I want that. No, you just sit in your cell all day.
Yeah. No, I take great comfort in knowing that you're just sitting in that cell by yourself for the rest of your life. Yeah. And eventually you die or whatever. But yeah, going from, he compared, he was like, yeah, it's like taking him from the Motel 6 and putting him in Ritz-Carlton. He's like, I'm very much not okay with it.
Right.
It's against everything I feel that he deserves.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. Everything's terrible. Goodbye.
Okay. Hurt. Oh, Lord.
How's everybody else doing?
Yeah. How's your life going? Good.
Are you asking me or the people?
Both.
My life's going pretty good.
Good. Got a new couch, I hear.
I got a new couch. Yep. Hot tip. If you are considering the Floyd home couch, the Floyd couch, it is a very attractive sofa. It's very modern. It's very cool. It looks great in any environment, but it is very shallow to sit on. So Laura and I bought one recently at the suggestion of our friend who got it, but failed to tell us that he got the chaise version.
Oh.
So you really need the chaise to have somewhere to put your legs if you're going to buy this couch. And so we had a new couch today. The couch we just sold, the Floyd couch, I think was like 31 inches deep, and we got a couch that's 44 inches.
It looks, she sent me a picture. It really looks like a queen size bed.
Yeah. I'm the queen of Facebook Marketplace. So if anybody ever, this is a sincere offer. If anyone ever needs me to find something for them on Facebook Marketplace, give me 15 fucking seconds and I will find you the best deal of your life. This couch is probably, I would say $4,500 couch, and I got it for not even close anywhere near that amount of money. So
shit, yeah, man. You did it.
Cha-ching or something. Do you guys want some names? I've got some names.
Let's do it.
It's name time. Oh, there's some good ones. You guys are fucking geniuses. They kind of keep getting more abstract too, which is fabulous. Cheryl Wooten Dickey. Wooten Dickey. Cheryl Wooten Dickey. Makayo Maverick Bobo. Best. Makayo Maverick Bobo.
That's amazing.
Exactly what I would name my kid, for real. There's a famed set designer, Esmeralda Devlin.
Whoa.
I know. That's right along the lines of Jacob Mondragon or Gaylord Divine.
Seriously.
Which are my first favorite names I'd ever heard. Shiny Zing. Fuck yes. Yes.
Yes.
Shiny Zing. Cindy Craven married Charles Dick. And so their hyphenation is Craven Dick. This one's a good one for a couple reasons. Pearl Marie Pearl. But the first Pearl. The first one is Pearl, and the last one is like from knitting, like Pearl, Purl. Yep.
God, did they really name her Pearl?
Or she got married. Remember, we decided you can get married, but I hope somebody named their kid Pearl. I also found a TikTok of a guy harvesting pearls the other day. Like, you can buy like a grab bag from his pearls. You can say, I want 3 darling ladies and 2, harvest festivals or whatever they're called. And then he does a live stream of him opening. He'll be like, okay, up next, Tracy H. from Atlanta or whatever.
Shit.
Yes.
Like opening the oysters to see what pearl you get.
Yeah. And there's a fuck ton of pearls inside of oysters. And also I had no idea what that looked like. So it was fascinating. I love TikTok so much. Okay. More names. Lateria Lacrosse. Yes.
Yes.
Elizabeth Bone. Mm-hmm. And this person is a teenager currently, and his name is Braxton Hicks.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Yep. Somebody's parents were not super familiar with the birthing world.
I guess not.
For those of you who are not familiar with the birthing world, that's a type of fake contraction.
Yeah, like a warm-up. Yeah, not a fake. They're not fake, but
well, they're not
practice contractions.
Yeah, the time is not here. The Braxton Hicks is like, oh, I think I'm going to labor. Psych, you're not.
Right.
Braxton Hicks.
You would think that during her pregnancy, maybe that's what happened. Somebody was like, oh, those are just Braxton Hicks. And she was like, oh, I love that.
I love that name.
Yes.
So it's like Studs Terkel. Is that his name?
Yes.
Maybe it really is a condition, and Studs Terkel's mom heard about it and like, oh, my last name's Terkel. I'm going to name my son Studs.
That's great. I was
just like Braxton's parents did.
I was telling my oldest child I named him based off of a contractor on a HGTV show. True story. And so now, if you really want to know his name, you can go through all of the carpenters or whatever. But I was telling him that's where he was like, where did you come up with my name? And I was like, that, I was watching Flipper Flop or whatever, who knows. And the name, the guy, I was like, oh, that's a really cool name. And he was like, really, Mom? He's 7 and he's really a very precocious 7. And he was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, yep. That's where it came from, buddy.
Yeah, you should have come up with the cover story, like, oh, it's a family name. Oh, I didn't know we were Irish or Scottish or whatever.
No,
we're not. Yeah. Here's a fun fact I also learned on TikTok. Do you know Love It or List It? The one with the very severe British woman and the gay man, and
I've seen it a few. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. Super one of their top shows, and
yes.
One of them remodels it, and then the other one's like, okay, this is the value you could get if you list it now. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that woman is the woman who is getting married. She's the actress that is getting married at the beginning of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
What?
Yes. Isn't that weird?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very obscure. That's strange.
I told James this story, and he was like, was it a gay man that uncovered that truth? I was like, it was!
Yeah, it must have been.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? And
he was like, I know... I want to see what else she's been in.
Whatever happened to that woman that's getting married at the beginning of Rocky Horror Picture Show? That said no one ever.
Right. Or he was watching Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he's like, wait, she looks familiar.
Well, it's so abstract because Susan Sarandon is in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and she's like a young woman, currently. So, but in my mind, it doesn't seem possible that this like gorgeous, vibrant young realtor could have been in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It feels like a very, very long time ago.
Yeah, but it really wasn't. Time is weird.
Yes.
Nothing is real.
Right? I know. You and I think we talked about it. Speaking of Rocky Horror Picture Show, that Meatloaf in my mind had already died like twice.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I had already had the experience of thinking that he had already died. Before.
Yeah.
So I think he, like...
Mandela effect, but Meatloaf effect.
Yes. So when I heard that Meatloaf died, I was like, oh, he's already been dead twice. I've already gone through this twice.
Yes. No, I had the same thing with Fred Rogers. Like, I swear to God, Fred Rogers died.
I did too.
Mr. Rogers died twice in my life somehow.
Yes.
It's so weird.
Yes. Yep. Fred Rogers is definitely one that has already died.
It's happened It's happened enough that now I always pause and like look up people to see if they're alive or dead of a certain age, because I'm convinced that they're already dead.
Yep.
But they're usually not.
Right.
Or vice versa. I can't remember who it was the other day, but I was like, I had to ask Laura, like, did they die? Did I make that up?
Yeah.
Is that my Mandela effect?
So weird.
So weird.
What else? I'm mostly better from my COVID, everybody. You'll be glad to know. My children never got it.
Nope. Shit's weird, man.
Yeah, even the youngest one got a PCR test just to confirm. No, he is negative. So you tell me, people. You tell me
if anyone
how
wants
that's possible.
to harvest her children's stem cells and use them for something, do it.
I know.
They're super cells.
Yeah, the oldest is vaccinated. The youngest is not old enough. So I don't know. Don't know.
It's fucking bizarre. I also exposed the shit out of him at Christmas when I had it and didn't know I had it, and he didn't get it then either. So
yep. So anyway,
so get vaccinated because it works.
Exactly. That's what I've been thinking about a lot. Like,
yep.
It wasn't fun, but it really wasn't bad. Like it.
No.
I never felt in danger. And you know why? Because I had my vaccine and a booster shot.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was just sort of a bummer that I had to sit in my house. Like, if I had not known I had COVID, I wouldn't have thought twice to go about my life thinking I had a cold.
Yeah, I think that's the universal experience with boosted people currently.
So go
Miracle.
Do it. Miracle.
Do it.
Thank you, scientists. Don't be a bozo. Go get your vaccine.
You should be an ad executive.
I am.
Moderna and Pfizer. Like, that sounds like a carnival barker from the turn of the century, Sadie. I don't know if that's going to hit the demographic we're looking for.
I would go get vaccinated if somebody told me that.
How dare you? I'm going to go get it right away. I'm no bozo. Challenge him to a fisticuffs.
Seriously. Let's do some shout outs.
Yeah.
A little while.
You guys are making my dream come true. My goal is to have 1,000 Patreon supporters by the end of the year.
We can do it.
I really don't want to have ads. Here's the thing. This is something that was a big revelation for me. It might help other people, so I'll talk about it. Long story short, one of the influencers I follow on social media had come out and is just basically talking about what a pile of shit it is to be an influencer. And I'm not an influencer, but I work in advertorial content. Basically, I make advertorial content for, everybody. And any big name that I've probably made some fucking video for them for the internet. And I actually really love making videos. And generally, I really love the people I work with from those companies. But it's very, very dysfunctional thing to have to rely on corporations to make a living. Mm-hmm. And so this influencer that came out and talked about his experiences working with brands said, I want to sell my own art. I don't want to rely on corporations to make my living anymore. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how I've been feeling. It just clarified so much for me. And so from now on, really, I'm always going to prioritize selling what I have to sell directly to the people who want it, rather than doing something that I love, like making video or whatever, or podcasts, and relying on some shitty corporation to give me money to do it. I don't want to fucking do that anymore. No. I just don't. So not only do I not want to pollute these stories of these people and their lives and all the shit that's happened to them with advertising if I can help it, I really just don't want to rely on corporations to do this for you people. And you've all been so incredibly supportive. So if you can continue to support us, we can do this for a living and we can make more content and everybody wins.
That's right. And we don't have to annoy you with Best Fiends ads.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Who do we got?
We have, and sorry for the delay, we didn't do shout outs last week because I was
Sadie was
sick.
Deep in COVID. Yeah. We got a pile, and we're going to do half and half because we have a lot because you guys are actually trying to make our dreams come true. So if you don't hear your name tonight and you signed up in the last 2 weeks, don't worry. You're coming next week.
Right. I know. I feel like we have had a lot of new listeners lately. So hello. So happy you're here.
And if you're Christian or your last name's Wozniak, I apologize again.
Or if you were a theater person, or if you
Jesus.
transition lenses,
Heavily.
or you drive a Forerunner. No, what is it called?
I thought I saw a geo-tracker the other day, and I got
Geo-tracker.
so excited. I almost took a picture of it, but then it was I think it was a tracer, or so it was not a tracker.
Oh, shit. All
Now I
right.
really want a
Anyway, you know
tracker.
who's
Anyway.
not a tracker? Thank
me.
you so much to Collie K.
Collie K?
Yeah.
That sounds like
So cute.
yes, it sounds like your favorite dessert or like your perfect clothing store. Or like, you know, it's just like you are like, ooh, I really need a pick me up.
Seriously,
I'm gonna go down to
I've run
Collie
down
K.
to Collie K's. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like I'm gonna call Collie K. Collie K will make it fucking better, and in the best way. In that way that only like getting an iced coffee and going thrifting. You know, like your whatever your very specific thing is that you do that makes you feel so much better. That's what you get when you go to Collie K's.
Do you think people care if we give out their last names?
I don't know. I mean, what are we gonna hunt them down and kill them for?
I don't know.
supporting us?
Because her full name is really cute. It's Collie Kelly.
Oh my god!
No.
Oh my god!
Tell us if you don't
Yeah.
like it, Collie. I'll take it down. So
That's
cute.
Winner. Put it on their
Winner.
names list.
Done. Thank you so much to Claire A.
Oh,
She's Canadian.
MG. Right up there with Dorothea. What was the other one that I flipped my shit over? Like, underused best names in the world. Claire.
Claire is really good.
Oh, Claire is so specific, too. Like, Claire is automatically fucking fabulous and kind of bitchy, but with a heart of gold. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the best kind of person. Like, what everybody wants to be. Like, intimidating, but totally down to fucking have your back.
So much.
Right?
Yes.
That is the Claire. That is exactly the kind of person I want to be. Exactly. Like I want to be kind of mysterious with an edge, but always kind, and that's a Claire.
100%.
Mm-hmm. I can see your shoes. I can see your lipstick. You wear it better than everyone else. No one can get that lip up application like you can.
Yeah,
Claire.
your hair is gorgeous.
Yes. Pulled
Yes.
back perfectly, like in a rich way, whether you're rich or not. Ugh! Good job.
Thank you so much to Anika L.
Anika.
Yeah, she was at our Patreon party. Woohoo!
That is the kind of name that... What do I want to say about Anika? Anika makes me feel like the perfect amount of something that I don't understand and want to very badly.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes.
this is something that is outside of my realm, but I know I need to know Anika. You know, like whatever where she lives, what she does, everything about Anika. Like, it's a totally different world that I'm from, and I want to get in that world. That's where Anika lives.
I want to be inside it with Anika.
Calm down.
Oh, Lord. Thank you so much to Robert F.
What does your last name stand for, Robert? Robert Fobb?
Rob Fob.
Rob Fobb. Robert Fobbert. Robert Fobb. It's definitely stands for Robert Fobb. What do you know about Rob Fobb?
Cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have asked to borrow sunglasses, and he pulled them off, and what was underneath those sunglasses? Another pair of sunglasses. It's Rob Fobb. And if you're like, hey, Rob Fobb, can you give me a ride somewhere? He says, I'll just give you my car, but to have it
Ooh,
forever.
Gosh.
Yep. And also if you're like, hey, Rob Fobb is like, do you want to come over for dinner? Every time he asks you over for dinner, you have to go because, whoa, look out. That Rob Fobb can throw down in the fucking kitchen.
Yeah.
And he wears sunglasses while he cooks. In a very casual and effortlessly chic sort of way. Like, makes you want to do it. Like, previously you were like, I judge people who wear sunglasses indoors, but then Rob Fobb does it, and you're like, Yeah, I had to figure out how to pull that off because that looks fucking cool.
Yes.
That's Rob Fobb.
God, I want to meet Rob Fobb.
You can't. His calendar's full.
Damn it.
Indefinitely. Sorry. Closed his books.
Done. And last but not least, thank you so much to Sam W. We were just talking about Sam. What a name.
I know. Sadie didn't even set that up. She wasn't even trying to foreshadow for Sam, the best name in the world. Tonight's names are all like if there's comfort food, tonight's names are comfort names. Except for
really
Rob
true.
Fobb. Like Rob Fobb sort of like exists outside of the realm of other human beings for the most part. But like I know who these people are. I want to be around them. I want to hang around them. They're all effortlessly cool, which is a quality that, if somebody was like, pick one thing to be, that would be it. I would love to be effortlessly cool.
Me too.
I'm not. I'm self-conscious and awkward. I try to be effortlessly cool, and I look like I've escaped from the LDS crick every time. Every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just put on this oversized prairie dress and some sneakers. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You look like you're escaping a fundamentalist religious cult so much.
I'm trying to think of if I'm trying to be effortlessly cool, what do I really look like? And all I could think of was someone who bakes too much bread. I don't know what that means, but I feel like it sums me up pretty well.
Yeah, it's like kind of a Downton Abbey servant vibe meets LDS Crick, which is yes, I feel like I'm always bordering on Downton Abbey servant as well. Yeah,
So.
A little bit of like a harsh lady servant kind of thing for me too. You know, like I'm the one that brushes the daughter's hair too hard.
Right.
Like,
and I'm like the cook that's stuck in the hot by the hot oven all the time.
like, what were you going for, Courtney? Oh, you know, like New York cool girl on a Brooklyn bound train. And you're like, well, you look like you brush the eldest daughter's hair too hard. And Sadie, you look like you've been
too much bread.
all day. Like,
shit.
yeah, not what I was going for.
No, I'll try again tomorrow. Oh boy, if you're still listening, thanks so much for your support.
Thank you so much for your support. If we alienated you, I'm sorry. You're gone, so it doesn't matter. But I hope we didn't alienate too many people because we
try
really
again
love you.
next time.
Yeah. We'll offend somebody else next round. We promise. We're equal opportunity abusers. Oh my God. In the meantime, go to our Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at They Will Kill. Go to our website, theywillkill.com, and you can always email us at theywillkillpodcast@gmail.com.
Rate, review, subscribe, please.
Yes, please.
And we always want to thank AJ Bergantz for our music.
Cannot thank you enough for that damn track.
Yeah, and remember.
Yep. Yeah, sell your art to the people who want it. Just
Seriously,
don't contaminate your joy with the fucking corporate bullshit greed. Don't do it.
Yep.
I mean, you can like pick and choose. If something sounds cool and you want to participate occasionally, go for it. But don't set up your whole world to have to rely on those jack-offs because it's so abusive and dysfunctional and demoralizing, and you're better than that. And you are magical. And anything, you could do whatever you want. Think of a thing that you like to do and just try to do it for a living. Fuck it. Make cupcakes.
do what you want.
Yes. I saw this woman on TikTok the other day and I was like, oh my God, she's built these like teepees with wooden rods and then like fabric, you know, these little like lean-to, very simple teepees. And she goes around to people's houses in Houston and sets up these elaborate slumber parties for children. So she puts these teepees and then, you know, you can change out the colors of the teepees. And then she has blow-up mattresses, corresponding colored sheets. And then she just like decorates them with cute flags and fucking balloons and makes these like really over-the-top slumber parties for
Such a good
children.
idea. That's such
Isn't
a good
that
idea.
brilliant?
It
Yeah,
really
she's
is.
really, really good at it. But I was like, I'm sure she charges like $200-$300 a pop. Probably takes her an hour to set up and an hour to tear down. Genius.
So smart.
Yes, do something like that. Go. Follow your dreams. Turn off this podcast and go.
It's time, people. What are you waiting for?
Go manufacture teepee slumber parties immediately. No, but seriously, follow your bliss. And we love you.
We love you.
And thank you for supporting our bliss. And
Yes.
we love you. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.